Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Simple Invest 360 Discovery session for today. We're at 10:58, so we'll just give it a couple more minutes to enable as many people to join the webinar up until 11. Today, we will be recording the session, so if anyone you would like to rewatch or pass it on to anyone at your firm, different colleagues or friends, you'll have that recording sent to you post-webinar. All attendees will be muted. However, you'll have access to the Q&A, so you feel free to ask any questions. We have Stephen joining us from the Simple Invest 360 product team, who will be on standby to answer any of your questions. My name's Luca. I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes, and I'm the sales manager at BGL. Been in the company for around just coming up to 9 years, so it's been a good journey. So we've hit bang on 11. So let's kick off the webinar for today. But before we get started, I'd like to run a quick poll just to understand who's in attendance today, the breakdown of our attendees, to allow me to tailor this webinar to just understand our attendees. So please feel free to fill out the poll. Just give me 1 second so I can generate the poll. So here we go. So we've got here, which option best describes you? I'm a current BGL client, so you might be using Simple Fund 360 for your SMSFs, and interested in our Simple Invest 360 platform. You might be completely new to BGL or don't use any of our products, which is fantastic. Which option best describes you? Okay, are you an accountant? Are you an investor, financial planner, or advisor? And which software do you currently use if you are using one? So ShareSite, Portfolio Tracker, Premium, General Ledger, Zero, MyOb, or Handy, Simple Invest 360, which would be great to hear. So I suppose you're just learning a little bit more about how Simple Invest works, or you're new to the platform, and other. So we'll give it a couple of seconds. I might just jump into our next slide while you're all filling out the poll. So what we notice when we're analyzing the data is who is using Simple Invest 360. Okay, so majority of our users are accountants, which we can see under the SI 360 Professional 67.1. We can see the investors, so who would, you may be managing your own portfolios and would like to use more of a specialized software platform. So we can see individual investors make up 1/3 of the client base. I suppose these individuals generally have taken an interest in managing their own entities by preparing accounts and doing their own bookkeeping. So generally they'll do the accounting up until the reporting stage and get their accountant to help out with the tax return review and lodgement. I'll end the poll there. What I can see here, a lot of us are using General Ledger, MyOb, Zero, and Handy software, which is fantastic because that's what we'll be covering off on majority today, and how Simple Invest 360 differs from a General Ledger platform. So I'll end the poll there, and that really is insightful, and it's where we're heading with Simple Invest 360 and how we're trying to solve those problems. So we can see the investors will get their accountant to help out with the tax return review and lodgement, which can be done directly in the software. Okay, so I suppose given the breakdown of the users, we can see that both accountants and individuals are in attendance today, given the poll. So we'll go through how we'll benefit both users. All right. So what are Simple Invest 360 users are using the platform for? So we can see when we first attempted to develop the cloud version of Simple Invest 360, we focused solely on trusts. So your family discretionary trusts, unit trusts. And once we asked clients to start testing the software in the early days, they mentioned to us that they were also interested in companies. So they might have investment companies with investments that they would like to use the CG register for, and our different features, which will allow them to process the companies more efficiently, and also for individuals. But what we can see is trusts make up a vast majority of the entities managed on the platform. And like I mentioned, being that family and unit trusts, and companies and individuals making up the other third. Okay, so what can Simple Invest 360 do? We can see it covers off on accounting, investments, financial reports, and tax, okay, for companies, trusts, and individuals. So we can see that it will prepare the CGT register, okay, for all three entity types, investment reporting for all three, financial reporting, tax reporting, and tax return lodgement for just our trusts and our companies through our direct API with the ATO. So I suppose why did we build Simple Invest 360? Okay, so really it was to satisfy the feedback of our SMSF user base and develop a platform for non-SMSFs. Okay, we wanted to use the same automation that's inbuilt into Simple Fund 360, so we could really focus on investment trusts, investment companies, and individual portfolios. And what we noticed was our current SMSF clients were using all different software platforms to manage those entities. Okay, so getting all the data from their banks, brokers, wraps, and platforms, we can see here. And in formats such as PDFs or Excel CSV files that may not be compatible with their current software platforms. All right, so they would upload a lot of that data to Google Drive or different file servers to keep track of those source documents. They would then use Microsoft Excel to track all the investment history and the CGT register, and also putting that all into their general ledger software. They may even have foreign currencies where they might have to do the currency conversion through the RBA foreign currency conversion rates. And then after that, they'd have to use a complex Excel spreadsheet to calculate the split of distributions between the beneficiaries or unit holders, and then perhaps a Word document to draft all the letters and minutes, prepare the distribution statements, dividend statements, etc., and then put that all back into our general ledger here, and then lodge to the ATO. So a lot of steps involved in that process. So why we designed Simple Invest 360 is to really bring all of those platforms and all of those steps into the one system to really remove the clutter and maintain accuracy of the accounts and reports, and hopefully reduce errors and speed up the processing time for the individuals and the accountants. So how does general ledger software, which we identified in our poll. Majority of the attendees today are using general ledger software. So how does that compare to Simple Invest 360? So what we noticed is no place to record units. Okay, so in Simple Invest 360 Smart General Ledger, when recording buy and sell transactions, we have added a field for units. So you're able to keep track of all the units for the investments and not having to do that in a separate software platform such as Excel. No more details panel. So opening up the transaction further to reveal information regarding the tax components. So the capital gains and losses, the different disposal methods, which I'll touch on in the demo. Manually creating a journal entry for capital gains. Okay, so like I mentioned in that more details panel, all the capital gains transactions will be recorded, so you won't have to create a separate journal entry for the capital gains, and they'll flow through into our CGT register. Manually enter figures into a capital gains schedule, so something that you'll have to provide the ATO with. We prepare the capital gains schedule automatically for you. No current market value. So, you might be keeping track of this on Excel, potentially utilizing different public open APIs to bring through all that and revalue the current ASX shares that the trust or company or individual holds. We have a direct API. You don't have to muck around with any complex technical factors. That's all inbuilt into Simple Invest 360 with no charge. And then no investment dashboard. So your pretty investment dashboards that will identify the performance of the fund and how it compares with different benchmarks, the different capital growth or including the income will all be recorded for you in our investment dashboards. So what we'll do now is we'll jump into Simple Invest 360 and we'll go through how to manage these different entity types. So I've created an individual earlier. What we will be going through is how do we bring data into the software. So let's just say, for example, we've received a CSV file from the broker and we want to upload it into the platform for processing. So we can do that through our import. So we'll just jump into file import here, grab our broker CSV, and we can see the system has automatically read that CSV file. So, we do recommend setting up the broker feeds. So direct from the broker, you'll receive the buys and the sells, and in conjunction with the bank feed that you can set up, it will record and match up the cash transaction automatically for you in the software, so making that processing a lot more efficient. If you can't set up any of those feeds, we do support over 400 plus data feeds through the banks, brokers, and wraps and platforms. You can upload these CSV files into the platform. So then if we click import, it will import all those transactions onto our smart general ledger. And what we can see here is those purchases, different dividends that are being received, disposals. So if we jump into a purchase, we can see here our units field. So keeping track of the units for the particular investment. And if we open up, so we've still got our debits and credits, okay? You won't lose that ability. And then if we jump into and open up our more details panel, we can see the contract date, settlement date, the consideration all flowing through into that particular transaction and the unit price. If we then go into a disposal, okay, same goes, managing that units, okay, the debit and credit. So this can either flow through directly from, entering bank transactions, having the bank feed set up, or using our AI smart matching to code these different transactions. Again, we would recommend setting up the bank feeds and the broker feeds. So this will all just create itself automatically, this transaction with zero touch processing. So if we open up the more details panel again, now given the disposal method, a couple of things have changed. We still have our contract date, settlement date, and consideration, but what we have further down is our disposal method. Okay, so we can see here we've disposed of 10 shares. Okay, and further down, the software is automatically calculating the capital gain or loss, and putting that onto the CGT register and flowing through into all the reports. Okay, so making things a lot more simple, bring it all into the one platform, and not having to use Excel and the general ledger software in conjunction. So it's all done in the one. Okay, so that's basically managing our investment purchases and disposals, and how that differs from our general ledger software. We went through our more details panel again, even opening up certain DRPs that we've created, and I'll touch on our corporate actions in just a moment, but also bringing through information such as different dividends and distributions that are coming through, and the different franking credits as well in the more details panel. So I'll jump into our corporate actions. Okay, so one thing that, if you are managing your investments yourself, or, like I mentioned, through general ledger software and Excel, you will need to keep track of any corporate action that is coming through for those investments from the ASX. Given our direct API with the ASX, we do bring through all the announcement details every single day. So if any do match up with the investments that you're currently holding, the software will flag in the corporate action screen and mark it as action required. If the system does receive the cash dividend or distribution coming through, it won't ask you to then process that DRP, but in this case, we'll jump into our Vanguard. We can see here all the calculations have been automatically input for us. So the reinvestment of 100%, the DRP price per share, total amount from the payment, the number of shares allotted, and the residual balance. So we are keeping a tally of the residual balance. Again, you won't have to keep track of that in Excel. So we can see a summary, and then once we process that corporate action and we jump into our smart general ledger, our transaction list, we can see here it will automatically post that DRP to the transaction list as a manual journal. Again, you can go through in our reports and view the different CGT. So just give me one moment. So if I get our CGT realized capital gains and our CGT rec, capital gains reconciliation, and preview those reports, what we can see here is the ability for the software to track all of those investments, and even keep track of the carry forward losses, the different CGT capital gains on each of those investments. And again, our capital gains reconciliation report, which you do have access to. One of my favorite features is our distribution tax automation. Okay, so if the entity is receiving or does have distributions that are coming throughout uh, the period, you'll be able to keep track of that in your distribution tax automation screen, so we can see a list of the transactions for the distributions throughout that period. But what we can also do is once the annual tax statement is received, and it was really recognised as a pretty big pain point for our SMSF users. So given the 80% features that are comparable between both Simple Invest and Simple Fund 360, you will have access to that in this platform. So what I've done is I've uploaded a PDF of the annual tax statement earlier. If you do upload it for the first time, it does take around a couple of minutes for the software to analyze the data and extract it. But what we can see here is it's brought through all of the tax data directly from the statement into our table on the right hand side here. So we can see all the Australian income, the different franked dividends, capital gains, and foreign income that's been all automatically pre-filled. This is something, if you're doing manually, could take up to 10 to 15 minutes per statement, and having different entities with, up to 5 to 10 different annual tax statements that you will be having to calculate that information for and putting it into perhaps an Excel spreadsheet can be quite time consuming. So really big time saver there. So once it's all analyzed the data, you can generate tax data and post accruals, or you can generate and mark as reviewed. Once you've generated and marked as reviewed, okay, you can jump into generate and mark as reviewed. Just one moment. You can jump back into our smart general ledger. Bear with me for one tick. Generate and mark as reviewed. Jump back into our transaction list, our smart general ledger, and we can see that has been automatically recorded here. So we can see VAS, just one line, to our 238 account, which is our distributions received account, and it will pre-fill all that data for us. I'm not sure. It could be this one. It will pre-fill all the data for us. So just okay, this is the one here. Okay. Given the demo data hasn't flowed through, but when you're dealing with correct data, it will push all that information straight into the 238 account. So we've gone through no place record for units, no more details panel, manually creating journal entries for capital gains, given the distribution tax automation, manually entering figures into our capital gains schedule, no current market valuation. So we are bringing through, so if I jump into our investment dashboard, okay, you can give your clients access to this, so they'll be able to see the performance of the different entity. You can benchmark that against the ASX 200, or add no benchmark, so we can see our investment performance, the closing value of the different investments that this individual currently holds, different income market gains, and we can even view over a 5-year period the performance of the particular portfolio, and you can go even deeper into, if you want different timeframes, 3 year, 1 year, all the way to 1 month. time-weighted performance dashboard. So if you want to get more granular into each particular investment security, okay, we can see the performance in this different chart form. All right, so with Simple Invest 360, what we find is given all the accounting aspect is very similar to Simple Fund 360. So we might just jump into a trust. Okay. Our discretionary trust here. Okay, but it really comes to when we're processing year end. So in Simple Fund 360, we did have create entries. Okay, but with Simple Invest 360, we have what's called period compliance. We can see here for our family discretionary trust, we have a different investment dashboard, which we can see on the trust dashboard. So, information about the different assets that the trust currently holds, given real estate, cryptocurrency, shares, etc. We can also see the beneficiaries, given that being individuals, perhaps investment companies and other trusts. All right, but if we jump into our period compliance, okay, what we can then do is distribute to the trust. So we can distribute either yearly, quarterly, monthly, or other. And if we start the workflow, all right, it will bring up our statement of taxable income. All right, so automatically preparing the statement of taxable income, the net profit before distributions as per the operating statement, which it will calculate, less the taxable income or loss. You can add different tax adjustments if necessary, and then also complete any reserving. So if you want to do different manual reserving, you can do that, and then it will calculate the income available for distribution. If we click save and post, it will then bring up our distribute profit for that period worksheet. Okay, we can see here the different current year accounting profit or loss and earnings available for the distribution. We can open up income streaming if we want to become more granular between the different beneficiaries, or we can just distribute on a percentage or dollar basis. So in this scenario, I'll just go 60-40 split. Okay, and this is the accounting profit distribution. We can also calculate the tax component. So if we select auto fill from accounting profit percentage, it will then fill out this worksheet below, given our franked distributions, our franking credits, other income from distribution. We do a lot of the calculations for you, but we also try to give you the flexibility in Simple Invest 360 so you can make any adjustments to this worksheet. Once you're happy with how the software has calculated the different components, you can post and continue. The software will also allow you to open inter-entity journals. Okay, so what that means is, let's say this trust has an individual or a company which is also on being managed on Simple Invest 360. It will then post that distribution to that entity in Simple Invest 360 under the 238 distributions received account. I'll skip that for now. What it will then do is prepare the trust tax return for us. So all of the fields have now been pre-filled. You can validate this tax return and lodge directly to the ATO, or you can pre-fill or use this information and pre-fill your current tax software and lodge from there. It will bring up any invalid fields or errors in a list format, so you can go through and make any adjustments. And it also gives you links where you'll be able to make any of those changes. So trying to really be as user-friendly as possible and really help you through that process. Okay, so That's basically doing the end of year or period that you're distributing the profit um, for a family discretionary trust. We can then jump into reports, and we'll show you what a trust report pack looks like. So this is our report screen. We manage or we can prepare up to 170 different reports, given that financial reports, investment reports, letters and minutes, and different work paper reports. A lot of these reports can be customized, and you can export them out in 3 different formats, being PDF, Excel, and Word. So if I preview those reports, so you will have access to even sign these reports through electronic signing, given your preferred provider. So the software does support DocuSign, Adobe Sign, Please Sign, and Fuse Sign. So if you do have a subscription with either of those, you can link it in to Simply Invest 360 and send out those report packs to be electronically signed and tracked within our document screen. So now that the report pack has been generated, we can see our statement of financial position. So calculating all the assets and liabilities and equity of the family trust, our operating statement, memorandum of resolutions, okay, our trustees declaration, again, all ready for signing, either that you can print it off and sign wet signature or through electronic signing, compilation report, statement of distribution, beneficiary balance summary, okay, distribution summary, and we even prepare the annual tax statement for you for the trust. Okay, so where that really differs from those managed funds and ETFs that you are familiar with, okay, which are not specific to the entity, what Simple Invest 360, what we've coded into the software is these tax return labels are specific to the entity type. So if we're distributing this distribution to a trust, another trust, for example, or a company or an individual, those tax return labels will be entity specific. Okay, and the annual tax statement for you below, and the tax reconciliation report. Okay, so all of these reports at the click of a button at your fingertips, so you'll be able to access all of this directly in Simple Invest 360. You won't have to use Word documents anymore to prepare the letters and minutes, nor will you need to use Excel to prepare any of the distributions or any of the reporting. Okay. Just bear with me for one tick. So what we also support is our companies, which we'll jump into now. So we'll just find a company here, which I prepared earlier. And what I want to draw your attention to within our company structure is the ability for Division 7A loans. So what we've developed in Simple Invest 360 is a complete Division 7A loans register. All right. So what we can do is we do all the calculations for you. So from the start or the commencement of the loan, and we will prepare the different interest rates given the ATO. So you won't have to do this on the ATO anymore. We'll give you the interest payments, the minimum repayment, and the running balance. And not only will we do that, you'll be able to post any repayments of that loan directly in this worksheet here, and have those repayments flow through to the transaction list, so our smart general ledger. All right, so in Simple Invest, we do all the calculations for you for the Division 7A loans, and we prepare a full worksheet for you here. We can even post dividend journals to the software as well. If we jump into our compliance once again, okay, so our end year, we can start our workflow. All right, so again, statement of taxable income for the financial year 2022, our net operating profit and loss that we've calculated, less or add the taxable income or loss. You can add different tax adjustments similar to the family trust, which I showed earlier, and we can do that reserving as well. If we click save and post, okay, we'll be able to pay the dividends out of the company to the shareholders. Okay, we can see the earnings available for the dividend. We can select the different franking rates given 25% or 30%. And then we also have a full franking account worksheet here where we can keep track of those balances for the dividend. Okay. Then we can see here, we can go through and add, those percentages again. So, maybe a 40-60 again. It will prepare all the franked and unfranked and the dividend amounts and pay those out to our shareholders here. We then post and continue. Again, open into entity journals. So if any of those shareholders are in Simple Invest 360, we can post to the 239 account, which is our dividends account, to those entities directly. So it's all interconnected, all your entities in Simple Invest. It will then prepare our company tax return. Okay, again, we can validate and then lodge with the ATO and view any missing fields or incorrect fields that we need to attend to. All right, and then if I jump into reports, okay, we can prepare a company report pack. All right, so we'll preview that. So in Simple Invest 360, okay, while these reports are generating, we can also continue to work on that particular entity while it's generating. They are very, very quick to generate. So, while we wait a couple of seconds here, we can see very similar to our family discretionary trust. We have our statement of financial position. We have those Division 7A loans in there. And through that worksheet register, which I mentioned earlier, the different dividends payable, etc., our operating statement, declaration of dividends resolution, ready for signing, our members minute. So all of this that you would have to prepare on Word is all automatically pre-filled and ready for review in Simple Invest 360. Okay, our dividend statement. Our minutes of meeting of directors. Okay, and also our director's report. Okay, we added that. Given feedback from our current user base. So we're always taking feedback on board. We have added a lot of features in Simple Invest given the feedback from our users. So if you do start using Simple Invest 360 and do have feedback, we are more than happy to work with you to add those features into the platform. Okay, our tax rec summary and the tax return. All available for you to send out for electronic signing or print off and sign manually. Not only do we support reports specific, we do reporting specific to each entity, we have added the ability to complete consolidated reporting. What that allows us to do is gain a holistic view of like a family group, for example. So I prepared one earlier. So what we have here is we have a trust, a couple of individuals, a SMSF, and some investment companies. And what it will do is it will prepare a set of reports for that group. We can see we have our cover letter, our summary, okay, the different entities, changes in value, the return on each entity, the investment income and tax movement. We can also view the asset allocation, okay, in pie chart form. So this will give us information about the different breakdowns of the asset types. But not only can we do that, we can group by defensive versus growth. We can also group by GICS code, okay, and also by control account. All available. The different tax calculations for the different entities, and also our statement of financial position. We are one of the only platforms, or I believe only platforms, that produce such sophisticated consolidated reporting that is out there on the market. We can do that via entity view or period view. So we can see, if I go entity view, we can see our statement of financial position, which has been consolidated across the Roy family group, given the different family trusts, superannuation fund, the different individuals and investment companies here. Okay, we can also do that across our operating statement, and also the investment reports. Okay, if I jump into entity view, we can see how each entity is performing, okay, across the family group, but also we can do that as a whole, okay, how the whole group is performing. So what I'll do, I'll jump back in, okay, how does General Ledger software compare to Simple Invest 360? Hopefully you're able to see that during the demonstration by us going through those units, the more details panel, the capital gains reconciliation reports, and schedules that we prepare, the different market valuations and corporate actions, and distribution tax automation through our annual tax statements, those investment dashboards given on an entity level, plus consolidated reporting across a family group, and also doing that end of year compliance with distributing profit and loss to the different beneficiaries, unit holders, shareholders within Simple Invest 360. So what it is and what it isn't, I suppose these are all the things that it is. We've also added invoicing for properties recently into Simple Invest 360, so you do have access to that. So, you know, some of the things we don't cover off on is timesheets, inventory, payroll, etc. But what we do is a large range of different investment features that will be available at your fingertips. So some Simple Invest 360 client feedback. Okay, what are our current clients saying about the platform? So saves a lot of time with the CGT calculations and importing data. The development team listens to any of our suggestions, and it brings all our information that we need into the one spot. So all those things that we're trying to solve, our clients are noticing, which is fantastic. So how do we get started with Simple Invest 360? So hopefully you enjoyed what you saw today and are ready to get started with Simple Invest. I know that's the hardest part, but we try and make it as easy as possible at BGL. And the way we do that is via our onboarding team called the BGL Client Success Team. What they will do is they will set up all of your entities into the platform free of charge. So you just need to identify those entities that are ready for conversion, and our team will convert the data for you. Pricing, what we've all been waiting for. So 110, excluding GST per entity per annum. Initial minimum purchase of 5 entities, and we sell one increment thereafter. So, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you would like the bank data and the share data, it is added an additional add-on to the platform. So 45 XGST for both, and you can have as many bank accounts flowing into into each entity as you like, plus brokers. So that's per entity. We do have an investor edition available. So if you are just wanting to manage your own trust or investment company, or you as an individual, we do have that as a separate package. Please reach out to us if you are interested.